What's going on? This is Andy, and I'm going to be taking a look at No House Advantage's Thursday Pick'em contest for Thanksgiving. They got the 3-game slate, which is nice. Normally, we got to force a couple picks because it's all one game, so sometimes you're forced to play players you necessarily wouldn't want to play. So this gives us the opportunity to look at 3 separate games and pick players from each of the games. Just a little wider variety than we're typically used to on a Thursday. If you haven't played in one of these before, here's how it goes. No House Advantage, player props, fantasy in one easy to use platform. They show you players for this pick'em contest that we're about to take place in, and you take TJ Hockensen, and it shows you receptions, yards. You pick your favorite one, you choose over or under, and then the more that you get right, the higher you ascend in the standings and the more cash that you stack in your pockets. And for a limited time, there's only so much longer you can do this. You can go over to No House Advantage using the link in the description of this video, and they will match your first deposit up to $50. So you put down 50, you get 50, and then we take it to Thanksgiving. So the first pick that I'm going to start with, I like doing that. I like teasing my first pick. That's going to be TJ Hockensen, who has been heavily evolved in the offense ever since he's been acquired by Minnesota. It makes sense. Kirk Cousins likes throwing over the middle. Now, Cousins struggled last week, and I know it's a little concerning that we're getting prime-time Cousins. However, I'm looking for him to bounce back at least enough to get Hockensen a couple catches, especially when you're looking to get a couple easy completions. You're looking over the middle at the tight end. So I like TJ Hockensen to go over on his receptions. And next up, on the other side of the ball, I'm going to be taking a look at Jakobi Meyers. I'm going to take the over on 4.5 receptions for him. Now, if this was earlier in the season, we would be thrilled. We'd be ecstatic to get 4.5 catches. He was getting 8 catches, 9 catches, 10 catches a game, but he hasn't been able to get into a good groove ever since Mac Jones came back from the injury. But in a game on the road against Minnesota, where they're going to have to score points, I understand Minnesota was absolutely stagnant last week, but other than that, they've been pretty consistent, scoring a couple touchdowns each week. They had one loss before last week. One would imagine 2 straight games at home, it's unlikely that they're going to be blanked yet again. And it's also unlikely that the Patriots are going to be able to win yet again without Mac Jones being able to do something with his arm. So I'm going to take the over on receptions for Jakobi Meyers. This should be money in the bank in a game where they're going to have to throw the ball. Indoors, turf, you're not going to get much better of an environment than this. Give me Jakobi Meyers over 4.5 catches. Then in the early game, I'm going to be taking DeAndre Swift over 32.5 rushing yards. I know his usage has been increasingly frustrating these last couple of weeks, but I believe he's still running for over 6 yards per carry on the season. One would imagine that he's going to have to be involved. Against the Bills, you need as many dynamic playmakers as you can get out there. They have this listed at 32.5 rushing yards. We know how dynamic he is. If he can just get a little bit of space, you're looking at one run, he could bust 30. If they give him even a remotely, like a 10% uptick in work, he should be able to hit this number. But even regardless, when he pops one, he's hitting over 32. So give me the over 32.5 rushing yards for DeAndre Swift. And now I'm going to take a look at that Dallas Giants game, and I'm going to go under on Saquon Barkley rushing yards. It hasn't been easy sledding for Saquon on the ground. Weirdly enough, other than the game against Houston at home where he got like 40 carries, and everybody's been murdering Houston this season. It was, I believe, week 1 was his last game where he had well over 100 rushing yards. He's kind of been struggling. If you take out his receiving, how many games has he gone over 87, 90, 95 yards? It hasn't been very frequently, so you know that the Cowboys are going to be focused on stopping him, especially after he busted them for a long touchdown earlier in the year on Monday Night Football. I'm going to be taking the under on Saquon Barkley. He hasn't played a full season in a long time. Maybe he's starting to slow down a little bit, maybe starting to wear down a little bit. So I'm going to take the under on Saquon Barkley rushing yards. And then lastly, I got a weird one that I really hope I don't regret. I'm taking the over 1.5 catches for Kenny Golladay. I know he's been a disgrace. I know that he's been benched. I know all those things that you're going to be yelling at me about, but they've lost they have nobody. Wendell Robinson, torn ACL, Sterling Shepard, gone, Kadarius Toney out of there. 2 catches. He even had 2 catches last week. So if you foresee that the Giants need to possibly play catch up, somebody has to be catching these passes. Anybody. 2 catches for the high-priced free agent in Kenny Golladay. I'm going to take the over 1.5 receptions on Kenny. And that's what we got for you on this Thanksgiving Thursday night. As always, if you don't like my Thanksgiving picks, if you don't like the way that I make my stuffing, if you don't like the type of gravy that I give with the turkey, always feel free to go to Stokastic, where they offer free projections for this contest. They have optimal lineups. Make sure you check them out. You can see how their picks differ with mine. I always feel like they do the opposite of mine just to spite me. No, I'm just kidding. They have great stuff over there. They can help you, get a little advantage on the field there. A little advantage on no house advantage. Was that a Freudian slip? Anyway, happy Thanksgiving. Hopefully you guys line your stomach with food and line your pockets with cash, because there's nothing that's better when the tryptophan kicks in. You gotta love when they bring up the tryptophan. Even though you eat a turkey sandwich on February 8th, nobody says anything. But then come Thanksgiving, you're tired. Well, let the tryptophan kick in and you collect that money from No House Advantage. I will see you guys before Sunday. Take it easy. Happy Thanksgiving.